I mean, you may have been much more receptive had they come in 19,000 less in the beginning.
They started a price point near to what I believe it's going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, even if they said 15K in the beginning and then
a certain price for 30 days and then a second price that was good for a year.
Now you hit the nail on the head. So now I've started to get probably, I've never interacted with a contractor that's offered such a price. Usually, this is what it's going to cost. If you want to do X, Y, and Z, this is what you have to pay.
Yeah. I think that what they do is they have, I think they crunch numbers. I mean, like you were talking about their financing. I mean, they probably look at it and go, all right, what is our bulk discount for lumber if we have this much work going on over the course of a period of time, and then they can decide.
It comes down to volume.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And of course, I never interact with a contractor like that. You've got to make sure things are going to be the way we expect them to be, and that's what they're suggesting is what the price is that I should pay for that kind of work. And I already know what a square footage price for putting a deck up is. I mean, it's not like I'm coming into this completely stupid.
So are they close to that at least, or no?
Say that again?
I was asking, are they close to that? What you?
No, nowhere near it.
Okay.
And keep in mind, so when I say that though, is because as we work through it, what they might suggest was to probably just take the existing deck down and start anew.
Yeah. Okay.
That didn't completely surprise me. I mean, I understand you're going to build. Why build something over top of something you may have to replace?
Yeah. Then you're replacing even more.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's the logic into that, and that part of it I grasped. Of course, there wasn't any real understanding of how much it was going to cost to remove the current deck and rebuild it. What the difference was, what the price was for the construction as well as the destruction. So you kind of kept going on about this calling back to the contractor. at one point as I was getting in my explanation why we're not doing this today and why I wouldn't do it today. She's hanging her head, but she has this little smile on her face like, well, this took longer than I anticipated, but anyway, I'm sure they do good work. Obviously, I think they did great work on yours. I've just never had an interaction. And now, I've had people come when we were looking to put windows in the house or the driveway. I've had exactly the experience that what we had with this time. I just was surprised. You all had such what I thought sounded like very good luck with it. I say I don't know how experienced this young fellow was, but he didn't help his cause a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, we had the. I mean, that does seem to be their way of working, if you will. But our guy.
As you can see, I went on and looked at Better Business Bureau and stuff on the internet. And obviously, we're not the first time. That was their normal mode of business.
It is. It's definitely. I mean, they do the the crunch. They look around. They're crunching. They like to talk. They like to try and make a connection, and then they do a little presentation and stuff. But it could be, while our guy was here for a couple of 3 hours maybe. I don't remember, somewhere between 2 and 3. But
Yeah.
we told him up front all those things that you said, as almost verbatim. And we even said, look, you don't need to run through the presentation. It's okay. We see PowerPoint every day at work. We don't need to see it from you. Of more interest to us is the Excel. So why don't you just go to that? Because that's really the bottom line. I don't need to see a lot of slideware. And our guy though had been doing it for. I mean, he'd been there forever, and he was really knowledgeable. And he skipped a lot of that stuff actually that you described. So it could be that you had a newbie who was, he's finding his way. But
And it was probably, and Mark said, you just let him go on so long. Well, he's a young guy.
yes, you hate to do that, don't you?
He's doing a job that's crappy as the devil. I mean, it just is. The way they're doing it.
Yes.
He's really nothing more
He's
than
forced.
a person.
Yes, he's forced to do it. They have a script, and if you don't follow the script, I'm sure they get in trouble. So,
Right.
you want to help somebody like that to some degree.
Well, it was interesting when he, of course, he left. I told him that I appreciate all the time you give us, but he did. I'm sorry, I left that just one part. Of course, at the end, he's packing up all of his books and tablets and all this junk. So I thought you might have an interest in knowing what your today price is today. And of course, I'm sure my face, it looks to kill these are dead man right there, because I'm sure when I looked at it, it was like, are you kidding me? So he turned it, I don't know, Mark may have said, well, what is that? Of course, he writes down on a piece of paper. Now, I realize I'm not going to tell you because your mind will, it's too Earl Jenkins for me to tell you exactly what they
I was waiting to ask the dad question.
But I am going to give you the privilege to know what they were willing to reduce after 3 hours of conversation. 4 hours of conversation. Would you care to guess what that price might be, what their reduction was?
What they took off, if you took it that
What they took
moment?
off if I'd have made a deal yesterday. What they would have taken off.
6,000.
$19,000.
Woo! Great day.
I want you to understand that, what we're talking about was very simplistic. It's not recreating the deck that we have. It's not going to be, wouldn't have been as big as what we have. Yeah, I was stunned.
But see, that's BS, right? They should just offer that price. It should be like CarMax or what?
Right.
What was the
Which most dealers or contractors, like dealers, I say dealers because that's what it was like dealing with a car dealer.
Yeah.
When you're talking to the young man, it was, I've just never seen anything like it. In fact,
That's
we've
silly.
been dealing with a couple contractors of
that's exactly how it makes me feel for you. Is that, I mean, you may have been much more receptive had they come in 19,000 less in the beginning.
They started a price point near to what I believe it's going to cost.
Yeah, I mean, even if they said 15K in the beginning and then maybe 4K later on or something as you move through it.
Right.
Like, because they asked us questions like, are you in the service, or anybody you know in the family service, or, you know, any references and that kind of stuff. And they would take, you know, a couple percent or 5% off for those kinds of things. But,
Right.
I mean, we had a today price and a 30-day or whatever, but honestly, it was not that much difference.
No, there wasn't that much difference.
But
in
maybe
it.
it's the times where the things are a lot more expensive now. I don't know.
Well,
There is that.
Because I had wanted to know about their supply chain, if they have any issues, that if we were to engage with a contract, that they would have to wait X number of times to get the supply and to be able to do it. And so, oh no, we don't have any supply chain issues. We have this relationship with these companies, and that's not an issue at all. And so I did ask at one point in time, assuming because of the supply chain issues, that they minimally, even though they get supplies, they cost more. That's just, you know, inflation has caused all that stuff to be more. And I asked that question, I said, well, yes, if you built this, wanted to do this 5 years ago, because you only use the term 2 or 3 years ago, time of the virus. And he said, no, really 5 years ago. He said, if it had been 5 years ago, it would have been this price. Well, when they quoted that final offer, we did something yesterday or Thursday, it would have been the exact price that he quoted when we were talking about that 5 years ago.
Oh, shit.
I mean, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's very unusual. I just,
The whole spiel is not, you know, I mean, you're spot on that's exactly how we dealt with it, or what we had to deal with. And I think we had a more experienced guy who understood we weren't there to listen to a bunch of the bells and whistles. Whereas I had a boss who used to call that kind of stuff the motherhood and apple pie, you know, kind of BS. So, but I think, yeah, that's just maybe, I don't know, maybe things change after 3 or 4 years. What was it, 2019?
well, you don't suppose that looking and coming into the house, and of course Mara was here, he may have thought that, you know, that she's like an older couple. Of course, it wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
Seeing her and thinking he was an older couple, maybe he pulled the wool over her eyes. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Or maybe he just looked around at all of the, you know, Aladdin's cave there and thought, damn, these people got a lot of money. We're going to
hose these people. That's right. Get the vacuum cleaner out.
I mean, this is stupid probably, but there were a couple of times we were getting quotes of something, and I don't know what they were now, but I stuck the Audi in the garage and just left the old Jeep out there dirty and stuff, thinking, well, you never know, man. I mean, I don't trust people.
What he thought when he got here, because I think he was a pleasant enough young man, wasn't anything like that, just a little nervous. But when I went into my little dissertation, as Mark calls it, he was ready to get the heck out of it. As soon as he could get through the patio door, he was quite happy. I was not ugly, but I was very firm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a Jenkins trait probably, but
I think it is.
And in fact,
tolerate a lot of BS up to a point, and
at some point you're just tired, right?
say it again.
I said at some point you're kind of tired and worn out, and you're like, all right, I'm done.
Right, and you know, it's funny you say that. That's exactly what it felt like. In fact, I told the guy, I've had enough of this now. My back hurts, and we need to get beyond where we are. And so, anyway.
Yes.
That's okay. I'm sure at some point in time I'll need a tree cut down or something, and that'll be your 4 hours.
I'm pretty sure that Lisa mentioned that somewhere along the way. It might have been disguised under something else, but yeah. But who are you talking to somebody else?
I think what I saw, what they did with your deck, in doing it exactly the way it was done, it does not look like an add-on. Most people would never know that wasn't there forever.
Right. Well,
and that's what impressed me so much, because that's also what concerned me, is taking what we have and being able to either work with it or have to make a major modification and have it not look like an add-on. That's often you see.
Yeah.
A lot of times people's decks, they just look like they're thrown on the back. There you go.
Yeah. Now, I mean, quality-wise and their customer service, I mean, they have been truly the best company, one of the best companies I've ever worked with.
Because they've come out twice to fix things.
Well,
a couple other times too. So.
When he was talking, that's something they talked about, is their quality service, and that they're going to make this right. They're going to stand behind their product and all that. And I knew, listening to you all, had said that was, again, one of the things, that's talking my language. I like that kind of.
I can tell you, man, when they were here building it, like actively in progress, and even like at the end of the day, there might be some little things that they just, they hadn't tidied up or wrapped up, and they were going to do it the next day. And I can remember one of them being like, well, this banister's loose. What the hell? Well, are they just going to leave it this way? And then there was something else that same day. I forget what it was. I took pictures of it and sent it in the email, and by the next morning,
it was the board that they were using to frame the doorway that was still there on the bottom.
Yeah,
they hadn't cut it.
Yeah, they hadn't. That's right. They hadn't, and they were responsive immediately. By the time the guy got here the next day, he took us outside and showed it to us what's going to be done, and just that they hadn't gotten to it, and no animosity or anything. Honestly, I mean, it was that part of it is fantastic.
Because probably as we've talked, that's one of the Achilles heels of a lot of contractors. That once they're done, they feel like they're done.
Yes. Yeah.
And if there's a problem with it, that'll require more money.
Yeah. And these guys came back a year later or a year and a half later to do that part around the top with the beauty board. And I mean, yeah, they should have put the wood putty or whatever in the crack. That was a poor solution, but they made it good and took care of it. I mean, with no hassle at all. So.
And you talk about them being sort of like this big company that, they have a lot of volume. What also comes with that is that it's not just a couple of guys with their small contracting doing it.
Right.
They came out with a whole team of people and they knocked it out and it was done.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fast.
We talked to some other contractors who said, yeah, it'll take me, several months because it's just me or me and this other guy. And I'm like, what happens if you get sick or hurt? And it's like, well, we'll get to it. And I know, pros and cons, but that whole spiel is indeed
it's
something
painful.
that was painful, I have to say.
Well, it was like like one of those timeshare kind of.
It was.
You get a free vacation if you listen to 2 days worth of talking.
Yeah, indeed. And, and I actually can remember doing that, and I think never even took advantage of it because I was so frustrated by the process of it in the first place.
But I'll tell you, here's the bottom line. I don't care. There are good contractors. There are really no great contractors. I'll give you an example very quickly. God, don't tease them about this, but I think it's still a work in progress. Of course, Corey and Courtney are having their kitchen completely renovated.
Oh, yeah. That's been a long time.
And with that, they opened up some walls to give a more open feel. And they've actually done a complete renovation of their master bathroom and put flooring down in a large part of the house. And of course, when he first was talking about this, I suggested a couple different contractors that I knew that might be helpful, really more like subcontractors. If you wanted to have flooring, this is somebody you should talk
was actually happening to me, yes. But I mean,
So we were looking at the master bath. Now they've got all the cabinets are in. They're not completely finished. Got a lot of their appliances in, I guess. And we went into the master bedroom where they've done a lot of tiling. It's going to be a very nice space. They tiled the ceiling. Excuse me, they tiled the walls. They tiled the floor. But they hadn't grouted. And I just thought, well, they just finished it up this week. It usually takes 24 to 30 some hours to let it set up enough so that when you come back and grout, the grout's not going to crack.
right.
But it looked like it had been some time. It had been 2 weeks. So all the dust and dirt from the construction had gotten in the cracks of the tile. So they were supposed to, we haven't heard anything heard from them this week. They were supposed to come to Jesus and sit down. And the thing, there are some good contractors, there are no great contractors. Most of them need to stay on constantly.
Yes.
I've never seen a profession like it. And it's gotten worse. I mean, I think that's, if I were to tell people that you just don't take it for granted that it's going to be a good thing, because it probably isn't.
Yes. I mean, I think every night we walked around and inspected and stuff like that, or whatever. It was before we were work from home, so yeah, you have to stay on them, or else. And that's the sad thing, because you can't. Like, I want to trust them to just do the right thing, but yeah, I don't think you can.
Well, you're paying them to do that.
Yeah.
And you want it to be a good experience. You don't want to feel like you're having to do the work yourself, and then you just might as well go on and do it.
Exactly. We did call the, I don't even know what their name is now, but the place that's, you guys gave us a suggestion that's in Richie's old woodworking place.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come out and look at little framing around the windows and stuff, but I think I called them a month ago, and they're not available until mid-August, second week of August. So to even come out and look at it, which I found
I would scrutinize them hard. I say that when I looked online, when I spent some time ago, it looked like they were the kind of company that you could use for small jobs like that. There's just so few people that want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we did the online thing, and I mean, I don't know anything beyond what you see there, and you just have to take a gut feel when they're here and see what they say. And,
You do.
and like you say, stay on them at that point. So, but we won't know anything for a month. So.
Well, the key question to always, whenever you go for the D4 licensing complaints.
Oh yes, yep.
DPOR, that's a must do.
Yes.
There's a lot in the Better Business Bureau. I don't know why, even if they're not members. I get the best information from those two resources.
Yeah, we always do BBB and then sometimes D4, because D4 is actually where my inactive real estate license is at, so we are familiar with that.
You know all about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're familiar with it, but it's a good reminder to check it out. But yeah, I mean,
it's so absolute, because of course what happens is a common problem for contractors. They'll have their Class A license revoked or have a complaint on it. Well, they just go get it on the license.
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Or get someone to come and work for them and get the license in their name. So it's not a perfect science by any stretch of the imagination. You just have to keep an eye on protect yourself.
Yep. I mean, if we lived in the UK, we could get rid of all those kinds of people and Trump as well.
Wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
I wish it was that. I mean, how is it Great Britain has the Donald Trump version of Donald Trump is beyond that.
Yeah, and they immediately, well, not immediately, but they have at least in some reasonable amount of time taken care of it, and we're just we're still idolizing our Boris, basically. So yeah, it's hard to get my head around it.
Well, I'll leave you with this last thought, and that is that if there's any way possible that you're going to get any kind of stipend or any kind of financial recognition for any jackasses to me, I just want you to know that I'll expect that check just written over to me. Sign it
5%.
Listening, or I just don't know. It's very confusing.
I'm pretty sure that was a 3 or 5% discount right there.
Who wouldn't know that? Absolutely, I understand.
But I mean, since you didn't take the same day price, then you know that whole check writing over to you is not going to happen because that was all contingent on you taking that, and well, you know.
All I know is when he left, he went out and got in his truck in the car, and after, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, I go out and get the trash can. He's still sitting out there. He must, I don't know if he was calling in to report this maniac that he just left the house from, or what the deal was.
No, what they do is they sit out there. I don't know, maybe he's trying to access your Wi-Fi, but what they have some little hotspot and they upload all the information so that it's there that night. I don't remember, Lisa.
It's interesting that see, none of this you shared with me.
Well, I mean, if they sit in your driveway and do that,
I mean, I give you some of the very best contracts I possibly can. And I mean, I'll tell you, I feel like this is like this is payback for Tim Edwards.
Lisa did mention something about that, you know, how will we ever get them back for Tim, but hey,
listen, anytime you need him, if you can't get him, know that I can get him there in no time at all.
Well, yeah, but then it's probably like a $35 emergency fee for him and a $35 emergency fee for you. I even told him the last time we used it, I said, look, this is not an emergency. It's all good. You can just come next week. No, I'll come right now. $35 emergency fee.
See, you're just an average citizen. You don't understand what an emergency is and what it isn't.
A plumbing emergency.
Helping you.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to plumbing emergencies, I think we're pretty well versed. I mean, not only have we had a lot of experience before the camper, but we've had some experience. I tell you, Lisa really, goodness. I'll just stop there now, given the look Lisa's giving me.
Yeah, no, I can feel the look all the way. All right, good people.
All right.
Thank you again for that referral.
Yes, we hope it works out.
Here's how it's going to work out. When we get to the fall, that's how we have a little get together. Know that you'll be sitting in an uncovered deck.
Bummer. Hey, actually, though, real quick, they didn't really call back a lot, right? Yeah. For us, I was trying to remember like what that guy was saying. You know, they'll call you. I think our guy said that they might call you, but honestly, they didn't. And I think we worked through email with him directly. Right.
He made it. In fact, he was very adamant about that.
Yeah. They must be hungry.
In fact, his words.
They're getting money.
They're going to call you a lot. And said, listen, you just called me. He said, I can't stop it. I said, well, I can tell you right now. That's not going to work for us.
You should have put that in the notes, honestly. That, you know, it's a deal breaker.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. That was the thing that was like, I mean, it's just, if you're going to upsell me or pressure sell me, then just do it. Don't tell me you're going to do it. That's not going to go over very well when I've already told you that we don't want that and we're not going to make a decision today. And it's, I'd say I'm sure part of it was that he was obviously into the work. In fact, we're standing out in the yard. And of course, we've got every kind of creature on God's green earth are flying around and crawling around in the yard. This butterfly, this swallow-tailed butterfly, goes buzzing by his head. You would have thought a bat had come down. I mean, here's a lad that he's wearing a Boy Scouts of America hat. It has a symbol on it.
Oh, wow.
And I told Barb, I mean, he was just, and then a Japanese beetle came by one other time. He's moving and swinging his hands. It's like, he was talking about he was going to go take his kids camping. In fact, it was almost, I told Barb, I wonder if he has like this variety of hats out there for different people. There'll be small people.
Yeah.
That'll be the most they have. So.
Trying to lure you in. It could be.
Trying to lure me in, exactly.
All right.
Well, you all take care of yourselves, and
person
that line with the guy to try to explain to him that, you know, we're not looking for this picture perfect thing. I mean, but we want to do the right thing with the circumstances we have. And I don't think he had a clear understanding that, well, let's just tear all this out and start new. And anyway.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, I think the best thing for you to do is to, get some peace and quiet and calm meditation. Put your spandex on and go join Lisa on Wednesday.
I love her like a sister, but I got to tell you up front, you won't see me ever doing that. The people that are doing it are enjoying it and have a big time. That probably, and that's the kind of thing that just doesn't need to be on Facebook.
I told Lisa, she said you didn't come. When I asked her, I said, did Rick come? And she said no. And I said, thank God I can get that image out of my head then. So.
Well, I was probably, I'll have you know, as I told Mark, I'm probably the only person there that can still wear spandex pretty good. So.
All right.
You all take care.
You too. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Bye. I'm glad we didn't call him back at 9 o'clock.